all of you all for tuning in on a Monday afternoon, Monday evening. It really means a lot to us that you all are on here. So I wanted to start out by thanking everybody, of course, for hopping on, but we needed to make sure that we introduced all of our staff. I know that a lot of times when we look at campaigns, we don't necessarily see ourselves reflected in those apparatuses. And I can happily say that that is not the case on this team. So I'm going to go ahead and start by introducing the woman who really, gives us all, puts us all to shame and has been doing this work for a long time, Cynthia Cano. I'm going to let her introduce herself and share her title and share all of the amazing things that she does for the campaign.
Thank you so much, Amanda. And it is so great to have this meeting tonight. I'm so excited. Thank you all for joining. It's wonderful to see everybody's name. Just a shout out to Little Joe. He's always so supportive. Thank you for being on. Rep. Lena Ortega, thank you. And Steph from El Paso, where I am from. Again, my name is Cynthia Cano. I'm one of the deputy campaign managers for Beto, and have had the great honor and pleasure to travel with him and help manage the all the events on the road. But obviously, like everybody and Amanda has said, takes a team effort. And so I'm just really grateful to be part of this amazing team. And that extends to everybody that is on right now and everybody that's watching.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. Next, we're going to introduce Selena Medrano. Oh, you're muted. Hold on.
Sorry. I'm Selena Medrano, and I'm a regional director for South Texas, and I'm a lifelong Democrat from the hub city of Far, Texas in Hidalgo County. We are still a staunch Democratic county. I'm a proud Latina, a daughter, and a mother of 3 amazing kids, and I'm so excited to be here on this team advocating for South Texas. It's about time that that all of Texas gets a candidate and a governor that is from a border town and that understands our region. He visits Rio Grande Valley regularly. He listens to us, and I know that he will not forget us. It's our job to make sure he gets elected this November, and I'm so excited to be a part of that. I'm also very happy to be here in the presence of greatness with Beto, Eva Longoria, and the legendary Dolores Huerta. Thank you.
Thanks so much for that, Selena. I'm going to introduce Gina Hinojosa next.
Thank you, Amanda. So Gina Hinojosa, I'm the Director of Policy and Research for this campaign. I'm sorry, I'm a little sick, so a little sniffly, but I just feel so grateful to share, this team of proud Latinos and Latinas, and to be able to be on this call with so many that are doing the really important work in Texas. And also just so grateful to work with a candidate whose policy vision for Texas comes directly from communities like yours. As much as I'd love to give myself credit for developing our policy platform, it really comes from the work that you all are doing to knock on people's doors, to talk to voters and ask them about the issues that are most important to them. We would have no idea what matters most to your communities without that work that y'all are doing. And it's been able to help us, put together this policy platform that's going to help Beto hit the ground running when he wins. And on day one, we'll be able to deliver for your community. So can't thank you enough, and really excited to be doing this together.
Thank you so much for that, Gina. I have Joseph Ramirez up next.
Thank you, Amanda. My name is Joseph Ramirez. Originally born and raised in Houston, Texas. I live now in Corpus Christi, right here in the Coastal Bend. And my family is from Laredo, from this side and the other side of Laredo. And it's great to be on a team that reflects our community, for one. And it's great to work with family. In the Latino culture, we all know this. When you have that really, really close friend, he is not a friend. You bring him in as your primo. And that's what Beto is to all of us. He's our primo, and we're working hard to make sure that he gets elected the next governor of Texas. Estamos todos muy orgullosos aquí para trabajar, para mejorar nuestra gente. Yo me encargo del sur de Texas, el Mágico Valle, el Corpus, Laredo, y estamos listos para trabajar. Y les pedimos, por favor, únanse con nosotros para elegir a Beto para nuestro gobernador. Thank you, Amanda.
Thanks so much for that, Joseph. I've got Chelsea.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Hernandez. I'm the video manager, so I'm one of the editors and camera people on the Small But Mighty video team. I'm calling in from Austin, where I was raised, but born in San Antonio, so my heart is deeply rooted in San Antonio, and just super excited to be on this. This is actually my first campaign I've ever worked for, so I'm just super excited to share the message of regular Texans and what they're going through, and hope to provide some hope and momentum for a new day in Texas with Beto. Thank you.
Thanks so much for that, Chelsea. I just realized that I didn't introduce myself or say a little bit about myself. I'm Amanda Salas. I said I was from McAllen, but I'm the South Texas Coalition's director. And I've been doing this work for a little over 5 years since Beto got started on his last run. And I'm going to pass it over to Irma because I know she's got a few things to say.
Thanks, y'all. Irma Reyes here, born and raised in Eagle Pass, Texas, the other EP. I am the political director, and like, the general theme that everyone has shared, it is really, really nice to work for a fellow fronterizo who understands the border, but not only understands the border, is from the border, and always tries to listen to all of our leadership down there and make sure that their priorities are our priorities and sticking through. And I can't wait to keep on fighting the good fight along all of these great humans on this call, but alongside Beto, who really just has the best outlook and really shows leadership from the top, and it really does reflect in the culture within Beto for Texas as an organization, because he leads by example. So with that, I would love to really quickly introduce some of the really amazing elected officials who are joining us on the call today. State Representative Rafael Anchia, Chairman of the Mexican American Legislative Caucus, Manuel Medina, Chair of the Tejano Democrats, State Representative Ana Maria Ramos of Dallas, State Rep Art Fierro of El Paso, State Rep Cristina Morales of Houston, State Rep Eddie Morales of Eagle Pass, State Rep Jessica Gonzalez of Dallas, State Rep Liz Campos of San Antonio, State Rep Victoria Nieve Grado of Dallas, State Rep Terry Mesa of Dallas, State Rep Alex Dominguez of Cameron County, Chairman Richard Raymond Peña of Laredo, Representative Terry Canales of Hidalgo, Senator Chuy Hinojosa. Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo is also joining us today, along with Dallas City Council member Adam Bazaldua, Representative Lina Hidalgo, and Representative Mando Martinez of Westlaco, Armando Wally of Houston, Ana Hernandez of Houston, and Mary Gonzalez of El Paso. Thank you so much for your support and joining us today.
So I know that a lot of y'all might be asking, like, what, who's leading this team? Who's the one who is really bringing coalitions to life? And I got to give it up for my boss, Rebecca Marquez. She is our department head, right? What's your title? She runs everything and she tells us what to do. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Thank you, Amanda. I am the director of coalitions, though I will say I try to tell people what to do, but that doesn't always happen. So we'll work on it. I am so excited for this call. I love seeing our attendee list go up. I am so excited for the folks joining us on Facebook Live and Twitter. I am frequently on those, as Chris, our comms director, knows. But we wanted to really kick off the statewide call with some amazing folks. You're going to hear from people that I'm just so proud to be here with. But we really wanted to make sure you knew that Latinos were part of everything this campaign does. You just got to see a fraction of us, but you'll see more of the Latino leadership throughout this campaign in real time. But today we're kicking off our inaugural launch of Latinos con Beto. We are so excited to do this because we know everything is on the line this election for our communities, for our families, and for ourselves. There's only one candidate who will stand up for Latinos in Texas, and that's Beto. So we need to do everything we can to make sure he's elected. So as you've heard, we have amazing Latino leadership in the RGV, but our Latino outreach will include key areas such as Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Corpus, and Austin. And of course, not just those places. But we're going to be working with the lawmakers. A special shout out to the ones that Irma just gave a shout out to. We couldn't do it without them. And key organizations who have been doing this forever across the state, including Texas Organizing Project, as well as community leaders. Our department, which we'll talk about a little bit more, and you'll get to meet some of our other department folks, is going to be specifically aiming at making sure Latino representation is here and we're represented at the ballot box for Beto this November. The Latino community is powerful. We have millions of votes here in Texas, and we need to make sure every single one of those votes is going to Beto. So that's where you come in. You're going to hear from amazing people, including two powerful Latinas that I'm so excited to have you hear from. And I'm going to get to them in just 1 minute. But we need you. We need to find those folks who aren't connected to our campaign yet, get them connected. If somebody's supporting Beto, can we make sure that they're knocking on doors for us? Can we host a pachanga in your neighborhood? What are we doing to reach the folks in your community? Because we know the Latino vote is going to be the victory vote in November. So now it's an honor to introduce our next speaker. She's an actress, a producer, a director, an entrepreneur, and an activist. And may I say, she's just a legendary Latina from Texas all around, Eva Longoria.
Hello, everybody. How are you? It's so good to see everybody on this Zoom, our new technology. As y'all know, I'm a Texican. I am from Texas and I'm Mexican. I am 9th generation Texan, believe it or not. My family was part of the families that built South Texas. And we still have our ranch down in South Texas that is from the original Spanish land grants when Texas was New Spain, and then it was Mexico, and then it was maybe France for a little while, then it was Republic of Texas, and then it was the United States of America. So my family's been under 5 different flags without ever leaving the state of Texas. So I'm as Texan as you can get. I went to college there. I still have a great love for my state. And I have been a big fan of Beto's for a very long time. And I'm just so excited to talk to y'all and really stress to you the importance of our vote, because you can't talk about Texas and the community of Texas without talking about the Latino community. We built this state. We contribute to this state. We thrive in this state. This is our state. And I don't like that the other side has hijacked the word patriot, the American flag, red hats. I want to wear a red hat one day and I can't. And so I think we've got to hijack that word back. We are all patriots and we're all Texans. And I think that for me, our community, specifically the Latino community, has experienced a lot of tragedy in recent years, and we desperately need new leadership. I mean, the amount of tragedies that Texas has faced, but not only the state, but specifically the Latino community being targeted, is a exact sign that we need new leadership. Somebody that's going to care about our futures and our stake in the communities. And so I'm really passionate about the stakes in this election. Every cycle we say this, oh, the stakes are so big in this election cycle. But I will tell you what's at stake this time is our democracy. And that's the most dangerous thing we could lose. I mean, of course, women's rights and our reproductive rights is on the ballot, and our LGBTQ brothers and sisters' rights are being threatened, and our environmental issues are not being taken seriously. Our history books are being changed, and our history is being erased. Our contributions are being erased. And so this November, all of that is on the ballot, but more so our democracy, how we actually get to vote, how those voting rights can stick around for the rest of eternity as long as our country is, a true democracy. And so for me, this November, we have the opportunity to make the great state of Texas better for everyone that lives there. So many election cycles, people write off Texas because it is such a red state. And I think we can prove them wrong. And I think we can show up in a very loud way and surprise the rest of the nation, where they turn and they go, holy crap, was that Texas? Did Texas just do that? Let's be the state that does that. And let's be the state that really gets behind Beto, because Beto is the answer to this. As governor of Texas, he's going to protect our rights. He's going to support the Latino community, but most of all, he's going to protect democracy. He's going to make sure that all voices are heard and all voices matter. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce Beto, because I know y'all want to hear from Beto. So please welcome the best candidate that this country has to offer, Beto.
Eva, thank you so much. You said all that so well, and you laid out the stakes for this election. And I think you described the reasons that we're all not just on this Zoom right now, but we're in this race, which I agree with you. I think this is the election of our lifetimes. Everything that we could possibly care about is under attack right now. It's a woman's right to make her own decisions about her own future, her own body, her own health care, our very fundamental, very American right to decide who will represent and govern us through the right to vote in a state where it is under attack more than it is anywhere else on the planet. And when you see all of that, I think there are two choices left to you. You can either despair and succumb to it, or you can say, you know what? We are so fortunate that we are the generation that has a chance to fight for and win these rights back. How many people get that opportunity? Those of us here in Texas and supporting the voters of Texas get that chance. And I want everyone on this call to know how good I and the people of this campaign, and really the people of Texas, feel about our chances to come through at this incredibly important defining moment of truth, just along the terms that Eva just laid out. I'll tell you, in a state that last elected a Democrat to this office 32 years ago, and it happened to have been one of, if not the very best governors we ever had, Ann Richards, in 1990. We are closer than any candidate has ever come, and there's still more than 2 months left to us. So when this race was first polled by Quinnipiac in December, we were 15 points down. That's a long, long distance. When they took the measure of this race again more than a month ago, we were only 5 points away. We made up 10 points in 6 months without having spent a dime on television, with our opponent, the incumbent governor, having spent millions to try to burnish his image and tear ours down. In the meantime, his approval rating has declined. Ours has risen. The gap between us obviously has closed. More Texans now think that we're on the wrong track than have ever responded that way to a pollster in the history of public polling in the state of Texas. When you look at money raised, thanks to so many people who are on this call who've contributed $10, $25, $500, whatever you could give, over the last 4-month period, we've outraised Greg Abbott by nearly $3 million. That's 500,000 individual contributions, the greatest number coming from school teachers right here in the state of Texas. And then, as Cynthia Cano and our team can tell you, as we travel the state, and it does not matter if we are in El Campo or Corpus Christi or Houston, Texas, or Pampa or Dalhart or Amarillo, we are seeing record turnout. People who are coming to meet this moment with everything they have, not there just to cheer on the candidate or to root for their political party, but to take a hand in the work necessary in order to win this election. I feel really, really good about where we are and really good about the path ahead over these next couple of months leading to Election Day on the 8th of November. And I just got to tell you, as I listened to Eva and before her, every member of my team who introduced themselves, I'm just incredibly proud of the team that we have built that is doing this work, that the state of Texas, and really, if you think about our outsized role in the politics of this country, that America is counting on right now. We are so fortunate, and I feel so lucky to be part of this cause, this movement, and this campaign. And let me tell you a little bit about how we are prioritizing our work with Latino voters across the state. Number one, it begins with respect. And for me, that means showing up for voters where they are, whether here in El Paso, where I was born and raised and where Amy and I are raising our 3 kids, or as we are about to make our 7th visit to Eva Longoria's homeland 9 generations ago in the Rio Grande Valley, as we return to Edinburgh and Brownsville, after so many visits to places like Roma and Far and McAllen, Donna, so many other communities, either the bigger cities or the unincorporated colonias. We're going to where people are and we're listening to them, and we are showing respect by making sure that we understand the voters that we want to serve and are reflecting back to them what we are hearing. And it's not just the Rio Grande Valley, as important as that part of the state is, important in many ways, because like my hometown of El Paso, it is so hard to get to that it is so regularly written off or taken for granted, depending on the political party, but also showing up for Latino voters in Harris County or in so many of our smaller rural counties. Too many of our fellow Texans or fellow Americans conflate rural Texas or rural America with Anglo Texas or Anglo America. And what we know here in Texas is that when you're visiting Madisonville in Madison County, and you have a wonderful town hall there, so many of the people who come to that town hall will be Latino voters. And so many of the questions you'll get will come not just in English, but also in Spanish, demonstrating that respect of showing up for people and never assuming anything, not a single thing about a voter based on their ethnicity or the color of their skin. We have not won or earned a single vote until we have shown up for that voter, listened, made that connection, and made a commitment together to fight for a better Texas, for our families and for the future. Having that respect reflected in the composition of our team and of our government once we win this and form that government in January of 2023. And also listening to so many other heroes who are on this call. Irma went through these great state representatives, and I believe she started out with Rafael Anchia, who's head of the Mexican American Legislative Caucus. So many of these members have been in the trenches literally for decades, fighting for the progress that now too many take for granted. I want to make sure I'm demonstrating the respect by listening to their guidance and advice and following their lead. People like Terry Canales, his great uncle, JT Canales, I believe was one of, if not the first, Mexican-American legislators in Texas. And after he left, it was, I think, 35 years before we had another. He made so much progress nearly a century ago that we are building on right now. And again, I want to make sure that this campaign is based on and rooted in the respect of those who have paid the price, who have served, who have struggled, who have sacrificed to make this moment possible. I also want to make sure that we are grounded in opportunity. That is what I am hearing as I travel and I listen to voters, especially Latino voters across the state of Texas. That begins with economic opportunity, making sure that we have the kinds of jobs and careers open to us, to our kids, to our grandkids, to the generations that come. That means connecting to training and college and vocational opportunities. It means raising a minimum wage that is now at $7.25 an hour across the state of Texas to a true living wage, so that someone's not forced to work 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet. They can work on that one job and make that job their career and spend that time with their family and being able to get ahead in their lives. It means those small business owners who really do comprise the strength of this Texas economy, so many of them Latina and Latinos all across the state of Texas, that they have access to credit and lending and opportunities to work with the state of Texas going forward. As governor, I'm going to make sure that we have that equal opportunity at the very top, all the way through our government. Opportunity also means the quality of our kids' education. And generally in Texas, we're doing a very poor job right now. As Eva mentioned, we're attacking teachers. We're preventing them from teaching the true stories and history of our state. We're withholding knowledge from our kids, but we're also making it very hard for them financially to pursue this career. On average, the Texas teacher is underpaid by $7,500 a year. So often she's taking 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet. Again, we want to pay these teachers enough so that they're just working that one job, focused on that child in front of them, drawing forth her lifelong love of learning. Once we establish that, there's no stopping that child, nor is there any stopping the state of Texas. And so we want to make sure that we can get that done. But those teachers must look like the classes that they teach. With nearly half of Texas school children being Latino and Latina right now, I want to make sure that the composition of our school teachers begins to approach that as well. Until we do, we'll continue to have some struggles in some key areas. The level of disciplinary action, suspensions, expulsions that Latino children go through compared to Anglo kids in those same classrooms is disproportionately higher. And it unfortunately contributes to a schoolhouse to jailhouse pipeline that we don't need in the state of Texas, that is unfair, immoral, and is holding us back. And while we're focused on that, we also want to recruit more bilingual teachers and teachers who can also focus on dual language education. I think that's going to be one of the great competitive assets that we have here in the state of Texas. We want to make sure that every person in the state of Texas, and especially every Latino, is healthy enough and well enough to pursue their full potential, to go to class, to teach that class, to start a small business, to run for office, to become a great entertainer, artist, creator like Eva or little Joe Hernandez or so many others who are on this call right now. But in the least insured state in America, Texas, which today ranks 51st behind every other state and the District of Columbia in being able to see, for example, a mental health care provider for Latinos and Latinas, it is disproportionately worse. So focusing on expanding Medicaid, which would bring $10 billion back of our own federal income taxes to expand access to care, especially in underserved and underrepresented communities, is going to do a world of good with connecting more people, including more Latinos, with more opportunity in this state. And the kicker is it will also reduce our property taxes, as local county taxpayers are no longer on the hook for covering the cost of uncompensated indigent care. I want to make sure that we take care of that. A couple of other issues that are really important. And again, this is a reflection back from what I'm hearing from Latino voters as we travel the state. And that is reducing inflation in the state of Texas. When you have property taxes that have gone up $20 billion over the last 7 years, that's a 40% increase, coupled with an increase in our utility bills that have gone up $45 per month on average per ratepayer since Greg Abbott was unable to keep the lights on last February when the grid collapsed, allowed his buddies in the energy industry to take $11 billion in illegal profits from all of us and then stuck us with the bill, when that is compounded by the fact that Abbott shut down all U.S.-Mexico trade in our international ports in FAR, in Laredo, in El Paso, Texas as well for more than a week. And it was a real blow, not just to the Texas economy, but to our border economies and to the prices that we pay in our grocery stores. Greg Abbott has become the leading cause of inflation in the state of Texas. So we need to win this to also bring prices down and make it far more affordable for people to be able to live, to raise their families, to start their businesses, to finish their educations, to work those careers, and to make this a better state. One other issue that comes up, and Eva began with this, and I know before I turn this over to Dolores Huerta, this is something that she will focus on as well, and that is the right to vote. I mentioned JT Canales earlier, who was one of these pioneering civil rights and voting rights advocates from a century ago, one of the founders of LULAC, which is still a major force in fighting for voting rights in the state of Texas. This is now the toughest state in the union, bar none, in which to cast a ballot or in which to register to vote. It is disproportionately harder for Black and brown Texans to be able to participate in our elections. We know that the voting laws signed by Greg Abbott last year were not intended to affect all of us equally, but to depress the voter turnout of some, to elevate the power of others. So making sure that we reach those voters who are the very targets of voter suppression and voter intimidation is critical, not only in getting back our democracy, but in winning this election. And wouldn't it be amazing if, for those who sign up to be part of this campaign, who join the nearly 83,000 volunteers who've already said, hey, Beto, hey, team, I want a clipboard, put me on the doors, and you go out and meet the people who are having a hard time getting a connection to the polling place or to the ballot box or to the mail-in vote. And through your effort and through our work together, we make them the margin of victory on election night. Last thing that I want to say, I've mentioned respect, I've mentioned opportunity. The last important thing is solutions. I know that this is an issue that often gets brought up probably too much by parties of both sides when they are talking at instead of listening to Latino voters. But because this community bears the brunt of our failures to come up with solutions to immigration, I think it warrants just a couple of minutes on this conversation. We have a governor right now who, on the critically important issue of immigration, has decided to pursue stunts like putting migrants on buses and sending them to Washington, D.C. or to New York City, or building a few miles of border wall, or involuntarily activating 10,000 members of the National Guard here in the state of Texas for a 1-year deployment where they had a week to say goodbye to their kids, to their families, to their communities. He has done nothing to make our communities safer, to address legitimate concerns that we have at our border, but he has stoked fear and anger, hatred, and even violence against immigrants and those who are perceived to, quote unquote, look like immigrants in our communities. As everyone on this call knows, as Donald Trump was describing the quote unquote invasion or infestation of animals, of rapists, of killers who are coming to this country, as he was echoed by our current governor, Greg Abbott, who in the summer of 2019 sent a mailer out saying that Texans must, quote unquote, defend themselves and, quote unquote, take matters into their own hands. A young man armed with an AK-47 drove 650 miles from Allen, Texas, right here to our hometown of El Paso. And on the 3rd of August, 2019, after posting a manifesto online claiming that he had come to repel the invasion of Hispanics that he had been warned about, walked into a Walmart on the Saturday before school started in this community and killed 23 people in a matter of minutes in a peaceful city that rarely loses more than 20 people over the course of an entire year. When you have someone who fails to focus on solutions, and acts as a demagogue to vilify and demonize certain communities in our state, in our country. These are the predictable results. So I want to say this: I will work with every legislator, Republican or Democrat, every Texan, regardless of our differences in political philosophy, geography, or how many generations you're a Texan, or if you just got here last week, to come up with Texas-based solutions to the challenges and opportunities that we have with immigration. If you want to come to this country to work, to join your family, to seek asylum or refuge, I want you to have a safe, legal, orderly path for you to be able to do this. If you come to do us harm in any way, whether that's trafficking illegal drugs or in human beings, I want us to be far more effective in stopping you, in keeping this state safe. I know that we can do that when we focus on solutions. I know that when we solve these challenges, they'll no longer be left open to be used as political attacks against our fellow Texans. And as governor, I promise you, I will make this a priority. With that, and with deep pride for this extraordinary team, both the staff members who introduced themselves, our great friend Eva, who's beamed in via Zoom to introduce me, and everyone who's joining us as a volunteer, it is my honor to introduce our next speaker, who's been a tireless champion for the civil rights and the voting rights of really every single American, especially those workers who far too often are taken for granted or are denied the rights, the abilities, and the opportunities that far too many of our fellow Americans have taken for granted. She has been an inspiration to me, and to have her support in this effort means the world. I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, Dolores Huerta.
Yes, I'm muted. I want to thank everybody. Thank you very much, Beto, for the introduction. I want to thank everyone that's on this Zoom call today. And I do want to give a special shout out and thanks to the legislators from Texas who have done so much to defend our democracy in the United States by their going to Washington, D.C. and hanging out there and all that they've had to go through, and them and their families. So we know that this is a real unity effort. And, this is why I'm here supporting Beto. I don't know. Oh, I do want to say, I want to add to Eva Longoria's comments. My sister Eva, okay? So I was not born in Texas. I was born a little, maybe 45 miles from Texas. I'm not mean, but I'm sorry. I was born actually in northern New Mexico, but my great grandmother was born there in Mesilla, Las Cruces, okay? So I'm pretty close to Texas. And my family goes back 14 generations in New Mexico, okay? 14 generations. And, we're so proud to be Latinos, and we know that Latinos have done so much in the state of California, where we have changed so many laws, and we have so many Latino leaders. And, one of the laws that we just recently passed and signed by our governor is that undocumented people in California, undocumented, mind you, are going to be able to get health care. All undocumented in 2024 are going to have under our California Medi-Cal system. What do you think about that? Okay. Can we think about that? And this is the reason that we have been able to change these policies in California, starting with the attacks on undocumented people by Republican Governor Pete Wilson, that California is now a very blue state, as you know. Well, we know that we can do the same thing for Texas. And the people that are on the Zoom today are the ones that are going to do it. And of course, we're going to do it by getting Beto elected governor of the state of Texas. Yes. Ahora es cuando. We can't wait any longer. I mean, any of those Texans that do not vote for Beto, they've got to be gluttons for punishment, really. When we think of all of the hurt that Governor Abbott has really assailed against the people in Texas, ¿qué más quieren? I mean, what else do they want? More and more punishment. really, we've got to stop it. And we know that all of the people that are volunteering for Beto out there, that we are the ones that are going to have to do it. It was the Latinos in California that made California blue. It's going to be the Latinos in Texas that are going to make Texas also a blue state. And, I think there's more of you there. I'm not sure there's more Latinos in Texas than California, but we know that between our two states, that not only do we influence our states, but what happened in California, what happened in Texas influences the whole United States of America. That's how much power our population has, but they've got to be made aware that they've got that power, and we've got to get them to be to come out and to register to vote and to get out the vote. And we know that it's hard for people to register to vote, but there is a way that they can do it, and we want to make sure that they do get out there and that they register to vote, and then also that they vote afterwards. And I do want to mention that when we think of how the governor there, Abbott, has criminalized people in Texas, criminalizing women. Yeah, women who are fighting for their reproductive rights. And I do want to ask all of you to share this. I'm going to give you a couple of quotes that I want you to share. And one of them is this one. What Benito Juárez said, el respeto al derecho ajeno es la paz. Respecting other people's rights is peace. As the mother of 11 children, as some of you may know, I don't think I have the right to tell any woman you should have 11 children, okay? Nobody gave me that right. And nobody gave any politician or religious leader to say to women that how many children you should have or not have. So we really got to get that out there. And please repeat that message. Respecting other people's rights is peace when it comes to how many children you want to have, or again, whom you love or who you want to live with or who you want to marry when it comes to gay marriage. So we've got to get this message out to our Latino community to make them understand that they've got to vote for Beto, because he is the one that is going to save Texas, is going to help Texas and stop the criminalization of women. And also, and again, what they're doing on education is horrible. Taking, saying which books students can read and which ones they can't read. We can't let them get away with that. And this is another quote I want to share with you. And this is from W.E.B. Du Bois, who said this: ignorance is bad, okay? America can destroy ignorance, or ignorance will destroy America. I'm going to repeat that, okay? America can destroy ignorance, or ignorance will destroy America. And it's obvious that in Texas there, the governor wants people to stay in ignorance so that they can continue to, spread the hate that they have, this hate against the Latino community and against immigrants, and especially our undocumented. But we're not going to let them get away with that, because we have the people, we have the movement, we have the army that is going to go out there and get Beto O'Rourke elected so we can stop the hatred and stop. And I'm going to use the F word, everybody. Are you ready? Fascism. Fascism, because this is what Greg Abbott and people like him are doing. They want to punish people. They want to hurt people. They want to hurt women. They want to make people that want to help women. They want to make them criminals also. They want to increase the jail population. They want to keep our students from learning the true history of the United States of America, to continue the punishment also. Well, we've got news for them, okay? We have got news for them. And I am so happy that I'm going to be able to go back to Texas. I've been there before. I was there in the melon strike way back there in 1966, when we did that march there through the Rio Grande Valley. And so we're going to be doing a tour. And I do want to ask all of you to please spread the word, okay? And our tour is called Juntos Se Puede. Juntos Se Puede. All of us together, we can make it happen. We can get Beto O'Rourke elected, and we can change the policies in Texas so they are more helpful, especially to our Latino community. So we're going to be there September the 18th and the 19th, okay? And we're going to start, and we're going to be in Brownsville, McAllen, Corpus Christi, and San Antonio. I'm going to repeat that. We're going to be in Brownsville, McAllen, Corpus Christi, and San Antonio, with a lot of special guests. And we've got a musical team coming with us called Las Cafeteras. Now, I know some of you have never heard of Las Cafeteras, but please Google them, listen to their music, spread the word, because they're going to give us a lot of good music. And Little Joe, I understand, is going to be with us, my brother, Little Joe, who has always been out there at the forefront, always helping farm workers, always helping anybody who's doing the right thing. So we're going to be having a lot of fun. And I do want to ask you, okay, Beto said he has 84,000 volunteers. That sounds like a lot. Texas is a really big place. So let's triple that amount of people. So I want to ask all of you, please recruit. Get out there and find people that you know and get them to commit that they are going to help get out the vote and register the voters that we need so that to help Beto win. So let's go from 84,000 to 300,000 or 400,000. Yes, Texas is a big place, so we need a lot of volunteers. And so think of right now, who can I recruit? Somebody in my family, a couple of people from my family, my vecinos, my compadres, my primos, you know, my neighbors, my exes. Everybody has exes, okay? Think of an ex that you can recruit, okay? Get them to also commit. So if all of us do our job, you know, we can get the numbers that we need and get the people out there on the streets or wherever they have to be to make sure that Beto O'Rourke will be the next governor of Texas, because the United States of America needs Beto O'Rourke, okay? As much as Texas needs him, California needs to have Beto O'Rourke, okay? My home state of New Mexico, we need to have Beto O'Rourke as governor of Texas. So todos juntos, unidos, sí podemos. Sí se puede, everybody. Let's get on with it, okay? Let's make Texas really great. Really great. Gracias. Thank you very much.
Dolores, thank you so much. I'm going to tell all my friends that Dolores Huerta said Texas Exes today because that was legendary. But we got chills listening to you announce our tour. We're so grateful. Dolores, we had so many questions for you, but we're running out of time. But one question I wanted to make sure we close with, if you're okay with it, is saying, you know, what we saw a lot of is how do we reach members of our community to make sure they're supporting Beto? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, there's many different ways, as we know. We can do it through our direct communication, person to person. Everybody we know, every time we talk to anyone, you know, right away get them to commit and talk to them about Beto. But ask them, do you want to see change in Texas? And they're going to say yes. And then you have to say to them, are you willing to help make the change? And they're going to say, yes. And then we say, okay, well, this is the way we're going to do it. We want you to come out and help to go canvassing, do phone banking, recruit other people. It's not going to happen unless each and every one of us commits that we're going to bring other people into the fold, into the Beto O'Rourke movement for governor, okay? So this is what we have to do, just talk, you know, and don't feel hesitant about doing this. We know one thing we know is that, especially all of us women, we have found our voices and we're going to use our voices and we're going to use our voices for Beto O'Rourke. Si se puede. Thank you.
Let's go, Dolores. So as everybody heard, we are going to be on a tour with Dolores and Beto, and we are going to bring the Latino vote this November with her. So we're so excited. You're going to be hearing all about it. I'm going to kick it to now back to Amanda for some immediate things you can do. But again, keep your eye out for that. We have some amazing public information to announce this tour, and we're so excited. Amanda?
Thank you all for that. Oh my gosh, I just have to fangirl for a second. Ms. Huerta, like, you have just been such an inspiration. My first job ever was registering voters, and it was because of you. So I just need to, if I didn't do this, I would regret it later. But you know, the way that I got involved with Beto in 2018 was I was a volunteer, just like a lot of you all. I used to organize his events down here in South Texas before I got that job. And it was because the campaign was plugged in, right? I got plugged in And I made sure that I let them know the ways that I wanted to volunteer. And so we're going to put it in the chat, and we will also send it to you numerous times. I promise. You will get it today, and then you will get it again tomorrow. Okay. This pledge, you need to fill it out. We need everybody to fill it out. If you're on this call, you're going to make sure that you put there's a little area that asks what constituency you're in. You may not know what that means, but go ahead and mark it as the Latinos con Beto call. Make sure that you put the region that you're in. If you're not really sure, just kind of ballpark it. But I will say that everything south of San Antonio is considered South Texas. So Central Texas, y'all put yourselves in your region. That's because the regional directors that are on here, you met some of us, we're going to be in touch with you. And we can't be in touch with you if you don't fill out that form. Okay. Then you're going to get that one, and we're going to send you another form. And that's going to communicate with us exactly the way that you want to be involved with the campaign. So we're going to send lots of emails with the same link. And then the regional directors, you'll see myself, you'll see a few other people. We will be in touch with you all. And I think that we wanted to also have Selena share another way that we can get involved with this. Hold on, you're muted.
Keep forgetting. Thank you, Amanda. Gracias por estar con nosotros y juntos si se puede. Thank you so much, Dolores, for firing us up. Thank you so much for everybody that joined us today. We want for that fire and that all of that to go and go back out to the communities that you're from. Today, if you can, post something about today's call, share the Latino enthusiasm that we have. Let's show the rest of Texas that our vote matters. Take a selfie, a screenshot, or tweet something on your social media platforms, and make sure that you add the hashtag Latinos, so that we can share it and people will listen. We will share it all on our social media if you do so, and let us know how you will be motivating your communities and reaching out to your fellow Latinos.
Thank you all so much. So that just one more time, that hashtag was Latinos con Beto, and look out for your email. You may want to check some of you all's spam boxes, but we will send it numerous ways so that you all can stay in touch. Rebecca, was there anything else we wanted to let everybody know?
No, I just want to give us a shout out to State Representative Jessica Gonzalez, who says she can salsa better than all of us, and she'll be getting people in her district to vote for Beto. So thank you. We're going to need all of our leaders joining us and getting out the vote. So I just want to thank you all again. We're going to be doing a lot with Latinos con Beto, so keep an eye out, because we're going to put everybody to work because we need to win in November. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Dolores. We're so excited for our tour, and we'll see everybody in a little bit.
We love you, Dolores.
I love you too. Thank you.
Un movimiento sensual, un movimiento muy sexy.